Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Episode of the Month. This is a show where at the end of every month or beginning of every month, depending on the release, we talk about the month that be and my favorite episode of television to come out that month. June was a surprisingly good month for television. There's a lot of great shows in here, a lot of premieres of stuff I was highly anticipating to come back, and they were all very interesting and incredibly well done. But we can only crown one winner, and the winner to me has to be from season 2 of Physical, episode 3, Don't You Go Far. Now, I have done a review of the first season of Physical. You can watch that now if you are interested in seeing my thoughts on that show. But going into this season, I had the highest expectations. It was my favorite scripted show of last year. The storyline was fantastic. The world it built was fantastic. Everything about that show impressed me in every single capacity of the world. How do you live up to that? That first season was just so incredible and intense. And this season has some things I like, some things I don't love. But this episode, holy shit. It's very rare for me to feel like moved when I'm watching something like so intensely and so prominently. The last time it really happened was the beginning of Strange New World, where I'm like, okay, this is clearly a message about something. But this episode, I just felt so uncomfortable and so broken watching it. And the crux of this show is pretty much just this intense narrative downfall of Shiela, where she is so desperately trying to cling to this one thing, try to build herself up, but the world keeps knocking her down. And you don't feel that more so than you do in this episode, because everything that could go wrong for her, it does. And it's really scary. The beginning of episode 2, or the end I should say, the end of episode 2, she finds out that her father died. Episode 3 opens up at the funeral, and you see this woman who is in a situation she does not want to be in, because her father let certain events happen to her as a child, and now she is pretty much dealing with the ramifications of that, being in a room full of people who have no idea the kind of person her father truly was, and no one's willing to accept that, except for her husband. And Dan's like, we can leave anytime you want. Like, I'm fine to do whatever you need to. If you want to make a scene and do something here, let's do it. He is open up to the idea of her wanting to do things for herself, but his necessity to do that is all based on it helping him as opposed to actually helping her. It's a beautiful scene where he's like, let me make you a plate, let me get you some food. She's like, no, go ahead, you eat. And immediately he goes to grab a drink. It's all about him in that scene too, when she's in probably the worst situation of her entire life, and her mother can't even come down to start the procession. She is just in this room where everyone is telling her, we're sorry for your loss, like he was a great man, when we know he wasn't, and she is slowly just losing that. She goes to find her mother. Her mother has not met her daughter yet. And the first thing her mother does when meeting her daughter, and I guess her granddaughter, is try to make her granddaughter into the version that Shiela was when she was that age, putting her in certain clothes, giving her certain things to eat. Once again, putting Shiela in that position where she is seeing the world telling her one thing and her whole life is just crashing down. You're just like, that is I can't even imagine how terrifying that situation would feel, where you're at your abusive father's funeral, the whole world is telling you he's a good man, your husband is so focused on himself, and now your mother, who was an enabler, is trying to force your daughter to eat food and put on the shoes you wore in an uncomfortable setting when you know you have an eating disorder. Like, that alone is just so intense and the epitome of pain. Everything of that is just so scary and just emotional. And Rose Byrne is so good. Why isn't she getting nominated for anything? Like, my goodness, this woman is doing some freaking amazing work. It is so transformative and so intense, and I want to see her win some awards for this, because you can't believe it. You know, she's trying to protect her daughter, and she keeps having these pains in her stomach. She doesn't know what it is, and suddenly all these emotions are filling up, and she's just got this rage tensing up inside her, and she has to experience some euphoria in some sense. So she goes to a dance studio, an aerobics dance studio, And there she meets full on for the first time. Well, she meets him, we meet him, Murray Bartlett. And I've talked endlessly about this guy when talking about The White Lotus. That show was great. I love that he's getting more opportunities. Holy crap. He was phenomenal in this scene. Because it's just this intense energy of getting these women to dance and feel stuff while he's enjoying himself and just so happy and plucky and fun. And Sheila's like, why is he so good at this? Why is everyone just like responding to him so perfectly? What is he doing that I'm not? It is intense, powerful stuff. My goodness. It's brilliant. I genuinely am just impressed by everything this show did. And you see the way that he walks up to her and just like focusing on this woman who's clearly not supposed to be here. She's in her funeral clothes, trying to dance this pain away, but she can't. And now this guy who's essentially her rival and competitor at the time of this season, you're just like, he is forcing her to do these things. Another man trying to force her to experience things that she doesn't want to be told to experience in that capacity. Oh my God, is that crazy and intense. It's amazing because nobody can smile like Murray. He's got this like dead focused eyes where it's just like the coldest stare with the creepiest and most pleasant smile all at one. And you're like, okay, her father died. People keep telling her that her abuser was fantastic. Her mother's trying to enable her daughter to do the situation that she did that made her, bulimic. Her husband can't focus on anything. Her competitor is doing her job better than her. And on top of all of that shit happening to Shiela, she has, oh my God, can you imagine? I think one of her ovaries burst or something. Again, I don't know the medical finago for that or whatever. Her ovaries go kind of crazy and one of them bursts and she's got a few eggs left or something. Like, literally her stomach erupts and she's in a hospital and she's in pain and she wants to leave and she wants to be alone, but Dan won't let her because he's so focused on himself that he can't understand that she doesn't want his help. She doesn't need his help. She put herself in this situation by pushing herself and working too hard. And on top of everything else going on in her life, now her body's telling her, you're breaking down. Holy crap. And the doctor's like, is she bulimic? Because we found like nothing in her stomach. It's kind of crazy what's going on with her. It's not healthy. And Danny, of course, like, I don't know, I've never seen it really. She sometimes is like that, but I guess we're going to fill her up and put more food in her. And I'm like, whoa. This is a show that is just built on like beautiful aerobics. Look at the glitz and glamour of the 80s of this beautiful music score, these beautiful sights we're seeing in California. But deep down inside, and it's not even hiding this fact, it's like deep down, this show is about a woman's struggle with her own identity in a world that is trying to put her in a box and how it makes her insecure and angry. The inner monologue is some of the best inner monologue you're going to see on television. The acting is so incredible. Rose Byrne is delivering the best performance of her career. This show is so intense. And this episode, it's just crazy how good it is. How scary it is. How each and every moment is this escalating pain of this girl so out of control in her own life that her body is literally telling her, you're done. Go get some rest. You're going to kill yourself if you keep this up. You're going to lose sight of everything about you. I cannot believe it. It's one of the most intense things I've seen on television and one of the most amazing episodes that Physical has done. With a slew of amazing episodes of this show, this one stood out to be special, and that is why it is my episode of the month. So thank you guys for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.